All right, today we're going to demystify artificial intelligence. And you can forget all those sci fi movies with thinking robots because we're about to uncover the core engineering idea that makes it all work. And the answer? Well, it's surprisingly simple. It's all about the agent. So, when you hear the term AI, you probably picture a machine that, thinks like a person. But what if I told you that's not really the goal anymore? The real secret to how modern AI works isn't about perfectly copying a human mind. Nope. It's about something way more practical. And that brings us to this right here. The big secret? It's the intelligent agent. Okay, so what does that even mean? Let's break it down. An agent is really just anything that can sense its world and then do something in response. Think about it. A thermostat senses the room is cold and turns on the heat. A self-driving car's camera sees a red light and it hits the brakes. It's that simple concept that's the foundation for pretty much everything we call AI today. And that right there is the key shift. See, the modern goal isn't to build a machine that sits around pondering philosophy. It's to build an agent that simply does the right thing to get its job done. The whole focus is on rational action, not trying to perfectly copy human thought. So to really get this, we kind of have to look back at how we even got here. There was this huge philosophical shift in the world of AI, basically moving away from trying to imitate people and moving towards just building really effective tools. And it really all started with this one question, from the father of computer science himself, Alan Turing. For decades, this question was everything. It drove all the research. The ultimate test became the famous Turing Test. You've probably heard of it, right? The whole idea was, could a machine fool a human into thinking it was also human? The entire focus was on acting humanly. And you can really see the two philosophies right here, side by side. The old way, it was all about trying to behave like a person. But the new way, the modern approach, is just about being effective, about doing the right thing to win. So the question changed. We stopped asking, does it act like a person? And we started asking, hey, does it work? Does it actually achieve its goal in the best way it can? So here's the crucial point, the main takeaway. Mimicking human thought is, well, it's super fascinating, right? But the real breakthrough came when designers just focused on rational action. Turns out, you don't actually need to build a perfect simulation of a brain to create something that can beat the world champion at chess or, drive a car. Okay, so if we're designing these rational agents, how do we actually do it? Like, what's the blueprint? Well, there's this fantastic and really simple framework that engineers use for just about any AI you can think of, and it's called PEAS. Yeah, PEAS. It stands for Performance, Environment, Actuators, and Sensors. The best way to think about it is like a spec sheet. The technical blueprint for any intelligent agent. If you can define these four things, you can pretty much define any AI. Okay, let's make this really concrete with an automated taxi. For P, performance, what makes it successful? Well, a safe, fast, legal, and comfortable trip. For E, environment. Where does it operate? On roads with other cars, pedestrians, customers? It's a mess out there. For A, actuators. How does it act on the world? With its steering, accelerator, brakes, signals. And finally, S, for sensors. How does it see the world? With cameras, GPS, sonar, all that good stuff. See? Once you lay it out, it's simple, but it's super powerful. All right, now, obviously, not all agents are as crazy complex as a self-driving car. They actually exist on a spectrum. You could call it a ladder of intelligence. So let's climb that ladder right now and see how these things get built up from the super simple to the really sophisticated. Basically, we can classify almost any agent program into one of four basic types. And each step you take up this ladder adds a whole new capability, making the agent smarter and a lot more adaptable. And here is that ladder. At the very bottom, you've got simple reflex agents. These guys just react to what's happening right now. A step up, you have model-based agents, which can remember the past. Above them, goal-based agents. They can actually plan for the future. And right at the top, you have utility-based agents, the ones that can weigh all the options. So first step, let's talk about the simple reflex agent. This is the most basic one you can get. It just works on a simple if this, then that rule. An automatic door senses motion, it opens. That's it. It doesn't remember who just walks through. It doesn't plan on closing later. It just reacts to whatever is happening in this exact moment. Okay, the next step up the ladder is the model-based agent. And this is a huge leap Because it adds one crucial thing: memory. This agent keeps an internal model of how the world works. The perfect example is a robot vacuum cleaner that builds a map of your room so it remembers where it's already been. It uses the past to act smarter in the present. Now we're getting smarter. We're at goal-based agents. These things don't just react, and they don't just remember. They plan. They actually look ahead into the future to figure out the best sequence of actions to reach a specific goal. Your GPS is the perfect example. It isn't just reacting to the next turn, it has already planned the entire route from start to finish. And that brings us to the top of our ladder, the utility-based agent. This one is the most sophisticated because, let's face it, life isn't always about just one simple goal. A self-driving car wants to be fast, sure, but it also has to be safe. A utility agent is smart enough to weigh the desirability or the utility of different outcomes. It makes complex trade-offs, like speed versus safety, to choose the action that gives the absolute best result, all things considered. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. We've talked about the core idea of the agent, we've got the piece framework to define them, and we've climbed the 4-step ladder of agent intelligence. So what now? Let's put it all together. What you have right now is a really powerful new toolkit. Seriously. It's like having AI X-ray vision. You can now look at pretty much any piece of smart technology and see right through it, understand exactly how it's designed to work on the inside. Just think about it for a second. That Netflix recommendation engine, that's an agent. Its sensor is your watch history. Its actuator is the new shows it puts on your screen. And its performance goal, keeping you watching. Same goes for Alexa or Google Search or the AI opponents in a video game. You can now use this framework to break all of them down. So I want to leave you with a final thought, a little piece of homework. Pick your favorite app, your smartwatch, whatever, and try to define its Ps. Ask yourself, what is its performance measure? What's its environment? What are its sensors and actuators? Because once you start looking at the world this way, you'll start to realize these intelligent agents, they are absolutely everywhere.